Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Bass and Bonsai's in the house, and you know we're either talking BFS or Chatterbaits, one of the two normally. Sometimes bonsai, sometimes other type of fishing. But there's nothing like BFS fishing or throwing those half-ounce chatterbaits and 3/8 ounce chatterbaits and tearing up some largemouth bass. Am I right? You know I'm right. But guess what? What if we can combine the two? I'm gonna jump down here and explain what I'm talking about, chatterbaits in general, but what if we can throw BFS chatterbaits or lightweight chatterbaits with BFS gear? And voila, here we are, a very well organized box with chatterbaits. Well, not so much well organized now, but I'm gonna organize this box today and I'm gonna explain why. But first, let's just dump these out. Look at this. I got everything in here, from just your regular, and I'm trying these down. Some people say upside down, right side, cut these off. I'll be honest, I'm still not liking these over a crawl trailer. I've tried different ones. If you follow the channel, I've tried several ones to try to get them to hold on longer. The fish to hold on longer and the bait to hold on to the hook longer. And we'll explain that, what I come up with. Whoa, hang on. And if you know the channel, I also have my favorite bait. There's no knocking the Z-Man original half-ounce chatterbait. But I do have to agree, after putting more and more time on it, that hook is lacking a little bit. Now don't get me wrong, if you know you're fishing with this, and you fish with it a lot, and you know how to set the hook, and you got a good rod, I'm sure there's guys out there that'll say, I never have a problem. Because you will just miss fish on any bait you use, and you will miss chatterbait fish, jig fish, you know, if they're, especially on days when they're hitting wrong. But what I have found as I dump this box out, because I'm gone all over like every aspect of these chatterbaits. I love chatterbait fishing. I am not a big on spinnerbait fishing anymore. I used to. That used to be the only way I actually bass fished. It's kind of hard to believe now. I do have them. I don't hardly ever throw them. Look at this mess now. So as I organize these out and try to make some room, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna have to get a whole nother box for what I'm doing. But let me explain what I've recently come across. Now, I remember sort of when they came out with these micros, and I admit I'm pretty sure these were out before I kind of got as heavy into BFS as what I am now. But I've tried these and I don't like these. An 1/8 ounce is what the micro is. They also make a the micros are 1/8 ounce. They make a mini. That thing doesn't even belong there. They also make a mini, which is, I believe, 1/4. It's definitely not this small, and I know I've got one. I just got to find it. I just got it. There's another little baby one. I just got it. Oh, there. While we're on it, this isn't my original one, but this is one of the old original chatterbaits, like from my days of buying them. And you guys have heard me talk Bayou Crawl. This was one of the first, I guess within the first year or two, that sucker has caught a ton of fish. The skirt is since gone, which I stuck it on this one. And speaking of the one we were looking for, that's a mini, not a micro. But that's the kind of what the skirt ends up tearing up and being. But if you've noticed, they've changed the colors. Not even that one. Hang on, I've got an original one somewhere in here. So if you order a Bayou Crawl and you're like me and you like the original one, which I'm pretty sure I had one, this is another reason why you need to be organized. But anyway, this bottom thing is way more, the original one was way more yellow. This one's a little close, but it still isn't what the original was. So anyway, but it will give us a size comparison on the Z-Man you can get. These are all the little micros, which I love now, but I'm going to explain it. I haven't done a lot. Now this one's old too. Still got a sharp hook, but it's a little rusty. I need to probably clean it up. It'll still work. The micro and the mini both work, but here's what I found out. The micro and the mini, you need to do away with the skirts on these baits, and I'm going to explain myself a little bit. Some of you guys may figure out a way you like it in super shallow. These things do not get deep enough for me with that skirt on them, and a lot of them come with the perfect skirt that isn't like this one, or some of them come like this, but you have all of that works like a parachute, kind of like an umbrella. As it's, once it starts vibrating, you got to go a certain speed to get it to vibrate. At that speed, that there just makes it lift even more. And so what I found was, by taking the skirt off and then adding some kind of trailer. I'm still working on ones I really like, but one of the ones I tried early on, as soon as I started getting them, are these new Bugs, Trd Bugs. It's kind of like just a miniature version of a bigger chatterbait. Half ounce with like your well, this is a Bass Pro Shops, but the Smallie Beaver Reaction Innovations came out with the Sweet Beaver. Then the Smallie Beaver is what I actually like running on my half ounce, 3/8 ounce chatterbaits. One of my favorite baits to throw. I've been experimenting with some of the ones from, and these are also good from Yum. But if you guys remember right, Riot Baits, these aren't bad, but I like these over a swim bait still. I don't know if they ever really, some guys fish them different ways, but if you run the Bugs on the micros, I haven't really tried them on the minis yet, but I'll need to, that's one of my next projects, is to, so I can, kind of like a stair step down and feed these bass what they're wanting. What chatterbait are they in the mood for? Because I found times where I feel like there's not a chatterbait bite going. I've tried a bunch of different 3/8 and half ounce ones. I'm like, man, they just don't want to eat a chatterbait. But a lot of times you can, I've started throwing these with the BFS, some of the BFS, or the real, finessey bait casting rods I have. And that's still a pretty stout hook. It's almost, I don't have one right off hand, but like my 16th ounce and some of your like shaky head jigs, it's similar to that. You don't want to go too tight with the drag, too heavy a line, because you can straighten that out. But it's perfect for BFS gear that you already have a sort of a, and it's a pretty thin, sharp hook, so it's gonna, I don't have much issues with hook sets. My main issue with these all along were getting them to run as deep as I like them to run, with that blade still going, and getting bites, and they are getting bit now. I have several different baits to try in mind, different trailers, but I'm still trying the Bugs out. Got a few different smaller, the Meredith, if you guys remember the small, this isn't one, but the small Meredith ones I have somewhere around. I don't know if I have any out yet. Yeah, there's a bigger one. But the Meredith makes these down to smaller sizes on AliExpress. I may try out some different Meredith ones. Z-Man themselves make some different ones that could possibly work on here. Maybe some of the baits that you would use on a TRD, or say you would use on a drop shot, will probably work on the micros as well. But guess what? Z-Man a while back, they're probably smarter than me, some of those guys up there. And I got this shipment in because when I ordered, I'll explain myself. I was trying to find, and Discount Tackle, by the way, we're not sponsored by them, but that's where I got them from, and they're pretty quick now turnaround, kind of like Tackle Warehouse used to be until the whole Corona deal. But Z-Man's been making these for a while now, these flashback minis, and they come in 16th or 8th ounce. And the reason, I've seen them forever, I just never really, I was like, I don't want to mess with those, I don't get into those. Well, what I had happen was, and I ordered through, I ordered 3 of these, which I thought I was getting a gold head and a gold blade, because the chartreuse and white, if any of you guys are familiar with the little micro chatterbaits, were originally on that style of a head, but it had a little keeper thing for your skirt, and it was gold and white. Well, I went out with one of these micros and I was throwing it, and something hit it and the skirt came off, and so and it's in a video. I was just messing around. I cast back out a couple times, and the way this thing came to life without a skirt and nothing on it, with the gold blade, it was like flashing, and I caught 1 or 2 bass with just basically what you would almost consider a bare hook. It was just the jig, the head, and of course the blade was there, and it was flashing, and the flash is what caught them. So that made me think these may work, and it took me this long to just go ahead and get some, order them, and I figured I might as well, you know, change everything around. All my cheddar. Oh, here's one of those Merediths. I knew I had one in here, but something that small, I'm gonna try, you know, with a bear. Now this would be too small, but these, I'm thinking maybe this bigger size Meredith. Where's this? Oh my God, I am totally unorganized today. But that's the biggest size Meredith I can get, and it honestly may be a killer combo with the minis. As far as the micros, they make the smaller, different ones. Keytech makes them. I don't think Guggen's go that small, but several brands. Meredith on AliExpress. But so I'm gonna still use these. Of course, I'm gonna pull these skirts off and not even use them, and I'll use the that little thing, kind of like a little bait keeper. Now these, I wish I need to get like a size bigger. I'm gonna try them on the right way, but it's kind of like anything else. You just put it on straight, or as straight as you can get it. You know, get it on there. I found the skinnier sometimes don't work. Sometimes you want a little bulk, not a ton, but I'll try stuff like that. Then also just these bugs also work pretty good on some of the little small underspins for BFS type stuff. I was tearing them up with this little thing right here at that little creek video with Charles, catching little bitty bass on that thing. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'll come back. I'm going to start organizing this whole chatterbait deal. I'm going to try to get it all back in here, but it probably won't go. I'm going to get these somewhere in my tackle box. So I'm going to go out. I'm going to throw them just like they are. If you guys aren't familiar with these, they come with 2 different tails. I should mention this sucker. This has been a letdown. I tried throwing it. I haven't thrown it a ton because it's hard to throw. It's like a heavy crankbait. This Picasso, I want to say it's either 1.5 ounces or it's a monster. Weighs a ton. Hard. It's not hard to throw. It's just the reeling in kind of reminds you of a heavy crankbait. Have not even got a hit on it. I've tried some different, you know, big trailers. I'd kind of a purchase I probably shouldn't have bought. I don't know what I'll do with it. Definitely not going up in size. This video is mainly to show you how and why I'm going down in size with my chatterbaits to try to up my BFS and chatterbait game all in one shot. Let's come back when I get organized here. Oh, real quick, I also picked up a few. I don't know if I've ever seen these colors. I guess I just never tried them. Zinkers in the sprayed grass, and then also the Gobi Bryant. I like those colors. I really like this color in clear water. This color actually in clear or dark water, because it's kind of a dark, but it's a natural colored bait. I think it'll work all over. Got a little bluish purple, and I think that'll work real good too. And I know this is a chatterbait video, but also keep in mind, you cut these things right down the middle, you basically have 2 TRDs. So if you guys are, you know, like me, you're kind of cramped for tackle space. If you know, like, oh, I want to get a bunch of zinkers and I want to have, you know, a bunch of TRDs, and you're having a hard time storing your Z-Man stuff, keep in mind, some of these colors you can't get for the, you know, the TRD may have a few more colors, so you may have to get a couple packs of TRDs to cover them. But I would go through first and I'd get all the zinkers colors or I wanted for them and the TRDs, and at any time you can just pop one out, cut it in half, and you got 2 TRDs ready to go. It's real simple, and I haven't seen any issues with them. Whatever side you use, they seem to do the same thing. They stand up and they just flat out work. All right, I was coming back, and I will come back when I'm actually gonna have to move all this project inside because it's starting to rain again. That's why I'm out here doing this and not fishing, but we'll be all right. I'm back, sort of. I know, doesn't look like chatterbaits. I had this box, and originally this was my like wake, you know, wake bait type stuff. Anything that was, you know, higher than say a couple foot running square bill or something. So I had a lot of the Mans 1 baby minuses in it, a couple of these I think these are bomber fat A's, some of the original ones of the Mans, and just a few different ones. I think that's an Academy bait, but I decided I'm taking anything to do with that. And I've got a bin over here, by the way. This is a home for wayward baits, just baits. Not saying I'm not going to use again, I just don't have room. You know, something's booted them out of my tackle box and I'm out of room, and either I haven't given them away yet or I'm just waiting to use them later on. I kind of have that just laying around. So back to the video. During this quick break, just talking about the BFS box. Now, I know a lot of you guys are looking at this going, those aren't BFS baits, but think of that as like a deep diving BFS bait. I can throw it with BFS gear. It's pretty light. It's the Little Freak. If you guys don't know anything about those, they have a big version and they made these little versions. I don't know if they make them anymore, but it's kind of like a deeper diving square bill was the whole thought process. So I still have some of those. That's actually, I had 2, I believe it was, painted up. If you guys don't know Norm Coulter by now, off Facebook and paints, baby bass color, and I've got an original one in there. I started out with 4 or 5. I'm down to just the 3. Anyway, I got some of these smaller look jerk type baits, a mega bass one, another couple that I had painted up that I consider I throw with a little lightweight BFS gear. And then of course, you know, the normal suspects, and there's Dr. Krankenstein, his whole family. They're a tight-knit family, so to speak. But I haven't put these little suckers on them yet. I'm kind of doing that. I'm kind of going through today while I'm doing the chatterbait deal. And I've got a couple of the smaller cranks just thrown in here. I kind of have this box when I go just BFS fishing, like when I went with Charles on the creek, or if I'm going to little ponds or something. I want to have this to where I just, boom, I got BFS stuff. So I'm going to throw these in here. I kind of went through, I was getting overloaded anyway on my rattle trap and jerkbait box. So these are some of your smaller, that's also a supersonic, I believe, old school bait. But I'm going to throw these bait. Now this is just kind of a winter type bait, but I'm tossing it in there just to have it in there out of the way. So I've got some different size rattle traps, and so far I haven't found any rattle trap I like smaller than these. The minute you get smaller than this for BFS, I think I have a few. I just don't like those. I may need to spend more time with them, kind of like I do with these chatterbaits I'm talking about now. But my first initial thoughts on throwing anything like that, I feel this will catch a very small bass and faster than this little thing will. I don't know, they just don't run. I don't like the way they are. This is a Booyah Hard Knocker. I think that's the 1/4 ounce one. I call it the Zombie. They got a name for it. Anyway, I cleared out some space. They're going here. They'll fit, trust me. I probably won't add any more of that because I don't really, if I'm throwing a rattle trap, I'm kind of throwing a bigger rattle trap generally. But the reason I'm also doing that is I'm taking all of these, and I'll tell you something interesting about these. All these baits that I just picked up that are chatterbaits, but I'm throwing all my little chatterbaits of these little kind anyway. Now I'm going to stick with the, where I got them at, the from like 1/4, the micros and the minis that started out with the skirts and all that like a normal chatterbait. I'm going to go ahead and keep those in the chatterbait box. I may throw 1 or 2 of these in here just so I'll have them if I'm out, but until I devise a bigger box for my square bill stuff, that's what I'm going to do. My square bill stuff for my BFS stuff. But I wanted to show you something that surprised me. I'm buying Z-Man chatterbait things, right? And so I understand they make this, but what are they known for as much as they are chatterbaits? Elastec, right? So you take something Elastec, and that sucker just, you can't really break it. It takes a lot. So my thoughts were, these little guys were last tech when I first grabbed them. Of course, once I felt them, no such luck, I guess, or maybe it's not luck. Maybe they've done the research and realized that these are better with these and not a last tech. I couldn't tell you. Of course, in my experimenting, I managed to break this little guy. I just was like, that's not a last tech. May still work. I don't know. Could probably glue the tail back together. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. If you guys have never bought these before and thought, just had it in your head they're last tech, they are not. That part isn't. These should work very good. I may even try them. I think they maybe already glued. I think they got a pretty good keeper. And it looks like they've got them all intentionally angled. See how they're angled kind of down. They're not put on up at all. So that may be something I also try when I go into, whether it be, say, these, putting them on what I call naked, or if I'm running pretty much anything on the chatterbait, I may start trying to do, which these are kind of hard to do, they're only so thick, but running dropping it down more. And part of that may be that they already realize, which a lot of guys have talked about in videos, why you put the swim bait tails upside down. This, when you're pulling it, creates so much of a disturbance in the water that to get like any little flap or stuff going is better to be way below that, and that's maybe what they got going. I don't know. Anyway, so if you wondered where these have went to, if I'm not talking about them in the video, because you'll see these in the future. I'm going to try to get out here first thing in the morning, and I'll start sometime tomorrow. I'll be fishing with those just to give my first shot. First time I've ever fished those little things, but it should be very close to when first time, like I'd mentioned earlier in the video, when I fished one of these little guys with this exact color head and blade and did real well. So that's what that is. All right, let's go to the actual chatterbait and that. All right, battery's flashing, probably gonna go dead. I'm gonna try to wrap this video up. I've kind of separated them out, and I've talked about them. If you guys don't know the difference, here's the Omega Custom Tackle. They're Rapture jig. Now I always talk about the shell cracker color. Let me see if I can find the shell cracker. Shell cracker is right here, I think. This is my favorite color in that series, the Omega Custom Tackle Baits, but they make a bunch of different colors. This one's faded out. I've had to I've beat it up, caught a lot of fish. The skirt's still good, but the head does take a beating. So Omega Custom Tackle, shell cracker. They make this purple one. I think that was a custom color also. Just a standard. I think that's a different skirt, but you can get like just a black and blue, different blades. You can get pretty much anything you want. And they also are a small enough company you could email them and you probably get a custom color worked up for you if you wanted to do something like that. So I have those mixed in with my, I guess I would say, different than my originals, because these baits I also like. And this is not a jackhammer, but it is just a regular, I want to say it's a custom or pro, I can't remember, but I'm going to get the customs. I believe are the ones you can order with the smaller hooks. But if you see the difference in the gap, there's not really a huge difference. That is a little better probably quality of hook, but these tend to take a stouter rod and a harder hook set. What I'm trying for next year is, so I don't have to use my heavy action or medium heavy and yanking harder, is to go with a little bit smaller hook. Probably even, I think it's smaller than what the Jackhammer has, if I'm not mistaken. But I have all those kind of baits in here, and the Jackhammers I think I've got in there. Here's the difference in just some of the heads. This is the old original, 1/2 ounce, got the shiny hook. Here's I believe the pro or the custom, and I think they are different, and I don't know if you can make that out. I think that's the difference in the hook size. One's a little bit smaller than the other. You hear me talking about it, which ones I recommend. So anyway, here's a jackhammer. This color, the Beehite Delight, I have not had a lot of luck on this color. Nothing like the black and blue. Of course, these, they tell you right down there what size you have on them. Tied on. very good hooks. But what I've done in my box, and it's just for right now, I've put anything, I've kind of got the color separated by the lighter and the darker, but anything that's like not the Z-Man original, because these are all Z-Man originals. And I just bought 3 of this color because they were on sale at Discount Tackles. So this is my favorite color. I went ahead and bought 3 more brand new ones just to have. You can never truly have too many chatterbaits, in my mind, if you're a chatterbait fisherman. But you can buy 3 of those for one of it, say a jackhammer, or you could almost buy 2 for what some of these custom and pros cost. So I kind of have those as you know, just so I have plenty, any different colors. I can always switch skirts around between those and the custom and the pros. But I've kind of decided I keep blades, and I just keep all the little parts and that kind of stuff floating around. I think what I'm going to do with these until I decide exactly what, you know, if I find some skirts that work while I'm kind of in my trial period, is I'm going to try to use all Z-Man stuff on these little guys so I can keep them all together without having to worry about it getting mixed up and all that, because it's not a good idea to leave Z-Man stuff on the Last Tech because it can rust out your stuff. But anyway, I'm keeping all the smaller ones on one side, and then I'm going to try to get more into, this is just goes in there, it's so lucky. Some of these, and I still cannot figure out what the difference is in these. I'll have to look into it. I think these are the same size as far as weight, but this has the bigger hook and a bigger blade, and this has a smaller hook and blade. But I wanted to say that these are rated at the same size. If anything, this is a smaller, lighter head, but bigger everything, hardware and everything else, and this is different. So I can't remember exactly how I bought those. I'm going to look into that and start trial and error with these as far as, you know, run them naked with just trailers and no skirt, because I remember trying them. I do not like anything lighter than the 3/8 of an ounce. The 3/8, and I'm still debating if I even like it at all or not, because with the skirt, and the only thing about a jackhammer is it's not quite as fluffy. If you notice that about a jackhammer is what may make it a little bit better than some. Most of your, especially the ones that come with the originals, and a lot of them have that, you know, perfect skirt or whatever, which actually has more resistance than these do. So anyway, was that there? I don't even know where this was. He's going right there for now. No, wait, he wasn't there. He was there. He was, oh my God, look at that. When you get so many, you don't know how to keep them in order. So I got to take this off because that's not Elastic in my experimenting anyway. This is an old one, but I need to get, and I have realized I need black ones. I've only got one chartreuse one and one black one, so I'm gonna order a few more of those up. I may order a few more of the different sizes to see which way they come, how they look. But anyway, that is pretty much it. As you can tell, this is my main colors I use, is these darker kind of I don't know. My chatterbaits, I feel I'm trying to imitate a crawdad or a bluegill possibly, but not truly, mostly a bait fish. Usually then that's when I'll switch to spinner baits. And also I have a few others I'm experimenting with. This I never did like, the Freedom or whatever. I'm going to try it naked with this bigger one. I did not like, where did it go? I lost one here. Where did I lose the bait at? As I get out of here, I'm going to find that bait I lost, and we're going to talk about it real quick. But I took, so I'm trying that. I'll probably throw it right there for now. And I've also taken the skirt off the one Picasso, and I'm going to try it on this Omega Custom Tackle. Sometimes it's switching parts around, giving it a shot. I cannot believe I've totally lost track of that bait I was going to show you guys. And here, you ready? Here it is. This guy, I did not like this Picasso. It felt like it, just like the 16th ounce chatterbaits. I felt like this thing with that big skirt, for some reason, just felt like it was swing. It was, you know, when I got it to speed I wanted it, or felt best, it was too high. It wasn't going down. So I put a bigger trailer on it with no skirt, and I'm going to go out and give that a shot. If I don't like it still, then I'm actually going to take this all the way off and just try to utilize it as like a swim jig basically. So anyway, guys, there's just kind of all the different things you can and try or whatever with your chatterbaits, and that's, I was giving you guys a heads up as I went through my box what I got going on. I may even try this guy here too. I made this one a while back and whatever. Anyway, and I'm working on frogs. I'm working on everything. Just get out there. If you don't have any chatterbaits, trust me, if you just pick watching this video for whatever reason and you've never heard or seen chatterbaits, you just got into fishing, check them out. Look up videos on the chatterbaits and the jackhammers. Yes, the jackhammer is probably the best. I'd say the Customer Pro or the Pro is the next right there with it, but the jackhammer may have the edge. The originals though, if you're on a very tight budget and you just want to get one or two, you only got $5 or $10 to spare, you know, whether it be an allowance or, you know, your wife, an allowance, like I said, the Z-Man originals, they're only like $4.95. Sometimes you get them as cheap as $4.50, $4. These suckers are the real deal also, just like the TRD. They will catch bass. I recommend at least a medium heavy rod, and when you feel a bite, set that hook hard. These are bigger, stouter hooks, but if you do that, you'll get them. That's it. I've never really, in years past, never had any issue with getting them. I've lost a lot of fish this year on those, on the jackhammer. I've had days where like I couldn't keep them hooked up on any of the chatterbaits. They just weren't hitting it right there, hitting at it, that sort of thing. So anyway, I'm out of here. Stay tuned for the next video. I'm trying to put some of these together and try to explain stuff. If you have any questions, like anything, any of these other videos, put down in the comments below. I'll try to answer it. Help me share this channel. Spread bass and bonsai. We are coming to a honey hole near you. Thanks for watching. I'm gone.